Okay, so you wouldn't believe some of the stuff we've been going through for this deep dive. Um, Seriously, between the AI world, all these articles, these cryptic tweets, it's wild out there. And it seems like OpenAI especially, they're at the center of it all. Luckily, we've got expert speaker here to help us sort through it.
I'm always up for a good AI puzzle. Where should we start?
Right, so the big thing this week everyone's talking about is OpenAI again. Seems like there are whispers of some strawberry architecture for GPT-4. On top of that, they actually did release GPT for Omni. And then there's Google. They just announced this thing, Gemini Live. So by the end of this, you'll know what's the real deal, what's just hype, and what actually matters.
All right, sounds good. Let's break it down.
Okay, so first, we got to talk about this whole strawberry guy thing that's blowing up on Twitter. This account, 60 Rule Thermomedari, it pops up with these super vague tweets, and everyone's going crazy trying to figure them out. And the really wild part, Sam Altman himself actually replied to some of them.
Yeah, I saw that. It's definitely strange behavior for OpenAI. Usually they are much more cautious with their communications, very controlled releases, sticking to the technical stuff. This is different. It feels different.
Totally. It's giving off major, something big is coming, energy, And then there's the name itself, Strawberry. People are saying it could be a hint at a totally new architecture for GPT-4, something that would change how AI actually reasons, which is a big deal.
Yeah. I read that article, too, about how many R's are in Strawberry. Like, the idea is that Strawberry could mean AI that moves beyond just patterns to actually, thinking more like humans do.
I mean, it's kind of mind-blowing when you really think about it. What's even weirder, I actually got a few replies from that Strawberry guy account after I tweeted about it all, which just makes the whole thing even more mysterious, but also makes you wonder, is this even legit?
$1 million question right there. Now, one thing the Strawberry guys said actually did happen. They claimed OpenAI would put something out on August 13th, and they did. It wasn't what everyone was expecting, though.
Right, just another benchmark test. Good for developers, I guess, but not exactly the huge news everyone was hoping for.
Exactly. This benchmark is basically testing how well AI models can solve really complex, real-world software problems. So, important in the grand scheme, but not, gonna set the world on fire. But here's where it gets interesting. Strawberry Guy also said that Thursday, something big is dropping.
And the timing of this benchmark, right after that, it has people speculating. It's like they're building up to something. Like, hey, look, our tech can handle the hard stuff. Now get ready for the model that actually uses it.
Yeah, I get it. It's a good theory. But, and I think this is really important, we gotta stay grounded. Even if the strawberry thing is real, even if it's as amazing as everyone is saying it is, it's gotta be more than just hype, right? It needs to solve problems that the models we have now can't.
That's true. Like, think about Perplexity. They're already doing some crazy, impressive things with combining traditional search with AI. So Strawberry, if it's going to be a big deal, it has to go beyond what we already have. What even is groundbreaking at this point?
Right. It's a good question to be asking, that's for sure.
So we're all kind of waiting to see what happens with this whole Strawberry thing. But OpenAI, they did do something. They released GPT-4 Omni.
Yeah, and it really did kind of fly under the radar.
Yeah, for sure. And I got to say, I'm kind of surprised it wasn't a bigger deal. Like, it's not every day OpenAI just drops a whole updated model, right?
Right. It's like they snuck it in while everyone was looking for strawberries. But I got to say, even though on paper it seems like this big update, the changes are, well, they're kind of subtle. I haven't seen anything like revolutionary yet.
Yeah, I've been using it, and I haven't noticed anything crazy different. And still no advanced voice, which a lot of people were really hoping for.
Right, exactly. And the DALL-E integration, it's the same as before, so no big changes there. It seems like they're really focusing on just making things a little bit better for now, at least until, well, who knows, maybe if this strawberry thing ever actually happens.
Well, speaking of catching up, Google's trying to get in on the action too, right? They've got Gemini Live now, which they're saying is a competitor to features like advanced voice,
But from what I've seen, it's not quite there yet. There was this really interesting article I saw, this tech journalist. They actually got to use Gemini Live, and they weren't that impressed. Like, it's not really multimodal in the same way advanced voice was supposed to be.
So it's like Google made their own version of ChatGPT, but with voice. Haven't we kind of moved past that already?
Yeah, in a way. But to be fair to Google, Gemini Live does have a few things going for it. For example, the calendar integration. It's actually pretty cool. Like, imagine showing Gemini a picture, like a flyer for a concert, and it can tell if you're free that day and even add it to your calendar automatically.
Okay, I mean, that is kind of cool, I have to admit it. Very Jetsons.
Right, that seamless kind of thing we've been hearing about for years. And there's also talk about it working really well with Android, like really deep integration, which if they can pull it off could be a big deal.
Knowing Google and their track record with messaging apps, though, it could also be a total disaster. Remember Google Wave.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves. But you do make a good point. Even if they manage to make the Android integration amazing, they're still basically playing catch up to companies like Apple and what they're doing with their AI assistants.
So, wow, okay, we've covered a lot here. Rumors, actual releases, upgrades that aren't really upgrades, where does that leave us? Like, for someone who's actually paying attention to AI, what are the big takeaways here?
Well, that's the question, isn't it? I think, honestly, there are two things to really remember from all of this. First off, the hype is real. Like, really real in the AI world. It's so easy to get caught up in every little rumor, every leak. But you gotta have a little bit of skepticism. Just because some random person on Twitter says they have inside info, even if, even if Sam Altman replies to them, it doesn't mean it's true.
Yeah, good advice. Don't believe everything you read online.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. That being said, though, OpenAI, they're being pretty quiet about this whole strawberry thing, which is strange for them. They're usually much more open about what they're working on, their plans. So it makes you think, what are they working on that's got them being so secretive?
Yeah, like they're trying to keep everyone's expectations in check, which, I mean, after that whole GPT-4 is alive thing a while back, probably a good idea.
For sure. And it goes back to what we were saying before. If this strawberry thing is going to be a big deal, truly groundbreaking, it's got to be more than just, a bunch of hype. It's got to be a real change in what AI can actually do.
Yeah.
What would that even look like at this point? Like, what would make you say, okay, this changes everything?
That's a good question. Something to think about for sure.
Definitely. Now, the second thing, and this kind of goes back to Google and their announcements too, is that OpenAI, they're not the only game in town anymore. They've been all over the news, sure, but Google, they've got a ton of resources, smart people. They're not going to just give up.
Yeah, it does seem like they're putting a lot of effort into catching up.
Yeah, and it's not just them either. We're seeing really cool stuff coming from smaller companies, even just like open source projects, people working on their own. It's an exciting time to be paying attention to all of it, not just the big names, but everything that's happening in AI right now.
It's a wild world out there, but like in a good way. So what do you think? Are you team Strawberry? Are you team Google? Or are you team, let's just wait and see.
I think I'm on team, just keep learning,
Yeah,
Always something new to discover.
I like it. And on that note, we want to hear from you, our listeners. What are you thinking about all this AI news? What are you most excited about? Let us know on social media. And until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and remember, don't believe everything you read on the internet.